You are listening to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast. I'm Michael from Arizona. With me always are my good friends.
Jay from the hills of Texas.
And AK Mike in Texas.
And we're missing Shannon tonight. He is off doing some business. And
He's probably fixing a plane.
Yeah, he's got a story. We found out on our Facebook listeners group that he had just got this new airplane and went to go maiden it, and I think the aileron departed. So we're going to have to.
Whoops.
I think we're going to have to hear a little bit about that story. But
since that's never happened to any of us,
I know,
it's
right?
It'll be a really interesting story.
That's the pre-flight.
It's always the new
guy.
guy.
That's safety then.
Man.
Yeah,
it's always the
there
new guy.
Always the new one. Newbie. Yeah, that's funny.
I don't think he thinks it's that funny. I'll be honest with you.
No, I don't. I know he doesn't think it's funny because he waited for that thing and finally got
he
it.
did.
But
he was really
excited.
When
he'll be back with us next time, and we're going to hear all about it and what happened and lament over his loss. But anyway, Jay, you had an opportunity, or I thought you were getting geared up to go fly with Jim and get some stuff done. How did that go with you?
Yeah, well, as you know, my new plane with the Bison and everything, it's a 4-cell or a 6-cell, and I've been flying it on a 6-cell, and the only thing I don't like about the 6-cell, it makes the plane feel really heavy, and it flies heavy-ish.
Yeah.
And so I decided to go with a 4-cell, and I finally got my props and everything came in, and I gave my good buddy Jim a call and said, hey, I'm going to take this plane out and go fly it, and so we had our play date set up, and unfortunately he had some appointments come up, and so he wasn't going to be able to make it, and I decided, well, I'll have to go it alone, and was going to go, and man, the weather down here just has been super crappy. I mean, it looked like it was going to rain, and that didn't really bother me that much, but it has just been windy as all. I mean, just 20 mile an hour, gusts up to 30. It's just been horrible for the wind down here, which is really unusual because it's normally not. It can be windy at that field, but it's not that windy. So I've elected not to take it up, to try it out on the windiest days of the year. So I decided to wait till the next nice day.
I mean, let the Bison prove itself.
That's it.
Yeah, I did not want to have a aileron depart from my plane.
There you go.
So
they would have two sad stories. So you got the 3-bladed prop. Were you able to put it on a watt meter and see if there was a difference? Have you done that yet?
No, it's not a 3-bladed. It's remember.
I meant 3-cell. Sorry, that's my fault. You got a prop that's
4-cell. It's on a 4-cell.
4-cell.
It's going down to a 4-cell. So no, I haven't thrown my watt meter on it, but from what I've seen from some other guys, it gives comparable power to the 6-cell, wattage wise. So no, but I haven't tested it out. That's one thing I haven't done. I should do that.
Yeah, that would be interesting to have, to put your 6-cell on there, do a static run up with that, because I know the watt meter, you just plug it right in and then change the prop out and see if you get somewhere similar. Because I know these other guys are doing it, but, who knows? Maybe they're using a different pitch or something. And, I'd hate for you to put this on and go fly it. It's real lethargic. And then, I can't get it off the ground.
Right. Well, that's the problem with the prop that they give you for the 16, it's a 16-inch prop that they give you. And that it's just not giving you the power. And by going to a 17-inch, 1710, it gives you comparable power, at least from what I've seen from this other YouTube video. It gives you the comparable power to the 6-cell.
All right. Well, grab the watt meter and throw it on there and give us a report on.
All right, I will.
What that's like, and then because it'd be interesting to hear both.
I'm gonna go what? What?
That's what? So, and then have you? Summertime's coming around too. Have you scoped out anywhere for the floats, or are you still? Just gonna
yeah.
try and track it?
Yeah, right here at Canyon Lake. I'll just probably go zip down there and give it a shot. So Jim will be happy about that because that's closer to his house. So yeah, I'll probably go down to the marina and give it a shot.
Just dig a hole in the middle of your runway, put some water in it.
There you go.
Yeah, it's to get in the water.
Flood the runway.
Wait, there's a river over there. Just
Yeah,
dam it
there
up.
is.
Get some beavers.
You mean
just
the
some-
dry
some
river? You
beavers
mean the
over
dry
there.
creeks?
Some beavers. Get some beavers to build the
Get some big
dam.
beavers
Some
over there,
Texas
build a
beavers.
dam.
Yes, I remember
You
that
can
during
do
the
it.
times. That's why they came out here to get the
You
beaver
can do
pelts
it.
from Texas. Yes, brought,
You can do it, Jay.
brought the mountain men
Come on.
down from Colorado to Texas.
What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't.
Nothing to do with anything.
Nothing to do with it. Texas beavers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As much rain as you guys have had down there, it should be flowing through there, though. You can probably
It might
just
be.
divert it.
Yeah,
Not
it might-
dry
it might.
anymore.
Yeah. True. Well, it's exciting to hear that you're getting your birthday gift all kind of wrapped up. And speaking of birthdays, we just this podcast comes out, and my birthday was on the 14th. Actually, the Mike and Mike both of us had a birthday on the 14th.
Ba-dum-bum.
So we were pretty excited, and we're going to use this episode to kind of talk. We're going to split this because I think we're going to talk a little bit about my gift, and then the next go round we're going to talk a little bit about Mike's gift, and so that we can kind of give him an opportunity instead of trying to squeeze it all into the 30 minutes and just kind of go through it. But we're kind of hanging out, and I was chatting with these two guys, and my wife comes in and says, "Hey, I got something for you," and she brings me this huge box of products and hands it to me and says, "There you go."
Hair products?
Not hair products, of products, just regular products. And unfortunately, I have the same problem with me, with my gift that I had with Jay, or Jay has the same problem. You guys had the same problem with my gift as I had with Jay's. And the fact that she hands me this box, and it is perfectly written on the outside with a etched picture of
What it is?
Of what it is, yeah. It's
I did ask for it to be wrapped in the porn wrap, so I don't know why it didn't.
well, thank you for not doing that. They did not
been
listen.
awesome.
No. It's the brown paper bag wrapper
just
thing,
the wrap,
you know.
the brown
Uh-huh.
wrapper,
And it says brown chicken, brown cow on the outside, I think.
with a life size.
chicken brown cow.
Some inflation is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, this box was perfectly rectangular.
Brown
It
chicken
came
and a brown
in.
cow.
Yeah, no. It came out, and it basically had a picture of. If you're on our YouTube, you can see it right here, and it still has a wrapper on it. But it was a 3D resin printer, and
What would you do with a 3D resin printer? That seems like a weird gift.
It does seem like a weird gift. I think that Jay has slowly decided that he's tired of listening to me call him and say, "Hey, can you print me this? Can you print me that? Can you print me this?" and has decided to say, "Hey, print your own." Anyway,
I just wanted you to
up
have the joy of what both Mike, AK Mike, and I myself have been going through with the whole 3D process, and we wanted to bring you into the fold to feel the joy that comes from this
And
new
frankly,
hobby.
Mike, since Jay started with this stuff and then I joined him, it has been progressively easier to do this stuff. So like, I spent my first printer that Jay got me 3 Christmases ago.
Mm-hmm.
I must have spent 6 months trying to get it working right because I didn't know anything about it, and the process was hard, and the printer had issues, for various reasons. And then I bought the Creatlity one that I have now, and that thing's like a snap relative to my other printer.
Right.
But the workflow process is so much easier today than it was even 2 years ago. To just get stuff off the internet or whatever, slice it, put it on your printer, off you go. So I don't expect you to be spending, especially since Jay and I have both been through the process, as much time as we had to dig in.
Well, and part of the reason that I waited is because I saw what Jay went through when he first got his.
For sure,
he got his way back. He pulled it out of the box and instantly didn't work. And then he
blue
spent
smoke came out
all
first.
this time trying to figure it
The
out.
first thing that came
blue
out of
smoke
it.
came out. And then, it got to the point where I was kind of like, I've got so much
need
stuff
that
going
trouble.
on. I don't need that trouble. I don't, it's okay. And Jay has one.
That's
and
exactly
if
how I felt about it. I don't need that trouble.
Yeah, and if I need something, I'll just say, "Hey, Jay, just print this out." It's not like he's doing anything all day anyway. He's retired. So
He's doing something.
he's
Printing
doing
your
We don't know
crap
what,
out.
but he's doing something.
I'm printing
Yeah,
your
he's
crap
doing
out.
something.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's right. And it's kind of interesting because I kind of watched that, and then I knew that he got you a 3D printer a couple of Christmas ago, and saw what you had to go through, But yours was relatively small, I think, and then you got
It
a bigger
was. It
one,
was
right?
really
Yeah.
small. Yeah, the first one was really small. And so but I still had fun with I mean, I printed out some pretty cool stuff and I did some things with it. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is neat. And then I just like, you know what though? I think I need a bigger bed. And so
Yeah.
I bought the bigger printer for Christmas for myself, I think, one year.
Okay. Well, good.
Yep.
Well, so there is a difference, and I'm gonna let Jay kind of explain because this is a Creatlity. What is this one? What is the brand on this? I got my box right here.
You should have your box right there.
LD00. It's an LD002H. So that's a 3D resin printer, which is different than what you have, right, Jay?
That's right.
You actually have.
Right, I have
something
it's known
else.
as FDM, and of course I don't remember what the acronym means, but basically it takes in a plastic filament melts it, and then redeposits it in wherever it is that you want to into the thing that you want to make. Where yours, being a resin printer, it uses a light source, UV light, to harden the liquid, and it does this by basically turning on and off using the LED screen that it uses. It basically turns on the pixels and makes a like a matte or a plate, on the screen itself. It's like making a outline of whatever it is that you like. And it just it makes everything else black, and it turns on just the LEDs in the thing that you want, right? So if you're making a box, it makes a box. The outline of the box projects the light through it for a certain amount of seconds. That hardens the liquid, becomes a solid, and then it raises where ours, the bed it stays, the same level, and then the print head raises itself. Yours basically does the same thing, but it moves the actual plate, which is when it starts out, smeared against the glass, and then it raises up, that 0.505 millimeters up, then projects the box again, and then that sticks to the plate, which is now above it, because that's now the new floor or ceiling, if you want to think about it that way. And then keeps repeating that and raises it up, and if it keeps that up to whatever height you want, and boom, you have a perfect box.
It's really kind of like a movie. It really it plays a slow-mo movie on the plate, basically.
So one of the main differences, I think, is that yours prints from the bottom up, and this prints upside down, right?
Right.
Yes.
Because yours is actually laying something on, and
But
you'll
it's
have
still
to
the bottom up. If you think it's still the bottom up, though.
Right, but what I'm saying is
just that it's
the bottom's in different
upside down when it
positions,
does
right?
it.
Which way you're
exactly.
Yeah, so yours is actually on the plate. It lays the bottom side down, and then it actually builds it up so that it gets higher and higher and higher. Where this one, it goes down to the bottom, and then from what I understand, and you'll have to excuse me because I am so new to 3D printing. I mean, this literally I haven't even started this up yet, but looking at the box and talking to Jay for a little bit before the podcast. So this one actually submerges itself, and then the light basically cures the resin, from what I understand, right? So it shines a light. It's a UV curing resin, and then it moves up. So it builds it, but it's doing it as the plate's moving up, where yours, the head is moving up. So they're both from the bottom up, but mine is dipping down in and then coming back, kind of doing this thing. And I know that
yeah, go ahead.
I know that Spencer got one similar to this that I put together, and we test printed something, that day. It only took like 10 minutes to set it up, and then we had test printed some box or ship or something. I think that was in the process.
That's pretty normal.
Yeah. So I have seen one of these work.
What I really like about the resin printers more than the FDM printers is the detail in which you can do. I think this is an 8K printer, Jay. Is that right?
4, I think, or 2.
4K.
It's a 2.
Sure.
I think so.
Okay. I thought it was more than
2K.
that. Doesn't matter.
It may be 4, but I think it's 2.
The point is that that resolution allows you to do things like figurines, which is mostly what we figured you'd end up doing this for, like little add-on bombs or little pilots. Because I know there was a time when you were like struggling to find a pilot, and someone printed one for you, and it ended up being like the wrong size or whatever.
Yeah, that guy,
and it's like, it's like, wow, that's really bad. And so this way, you can print something to scale to the size that you need it to be, and then paint it or do whatever you want to do and put it in your plane.
Yeah.
And that way maybe we can even make like a guy who's hanging onto the wing of one of your jets or something as he's flying around or something.
A little army man. Hey, help me.
Yeah,
help
a little
me.
army man, exactly.
Well, it's kind of funny because, I got this, and then Jay and I were kind of talking about it, and he basically, I told him that I wanted to print some antennas for the L39.
Great.
And so we've been looking for some of those. Bombs wise, there's not really a whole lot of bombs hanging off of it, but I mean, the Sparrow doesn't have any of those either. But I could print, little antennas, and so we've been looking for those. And that's one of the hardest things is that I just don't know where to go to look, and so
or you just make them.
Well, so that's another thing too, is that I mean, I do have a little bit of a design background. I mean, I can design stuff and kind of do graphics type work. So I mean, if it works similar to that, then maybe I can make some. I think you'll find
it's easier than you imagine.
Really?
Yes.
That was one of the biggest things I think for me, because the price on these things has come way down. I mean, a resin printer, 3 years ago when they first had it was $1,000.
Yeah, they were a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they were horrendous. And then the resin was expensive too. And so, they have come down, and I've toyed around with getting one, but then it was always like, okay, well, I don't really know, how hard it is to design something. I mean, Jay was always like, oh yeah, just go on Thingiverse and find it. But I did that one time, to have him print something, and I got nowhere. But when we were talking earlier, he was like, hey, let me explain how to go do this. And I didn't realize STL files is what the 3D printers are. And so he's like, oh yeah, here's a couple of Sparrow missiles, and here's some other stuff and some cockpits. And so if kind of just Google it, it'll take you to the Thingiverse or to Yegi
wherever
or whatever,
it might be.
Wherever it might be. So,
and the great
those
thing
are
is that people share that stuff out. The creative community is really open to sharing that stuff. It's really kind of great that way.
Well, it's kind of exciting. I am looking forward to it. I did get some resin with it. So, matter of fact, that came. They didn't come at the same time because our Lee told me when a while ago that she's like, well, I kept this. I had to wait till both came in here. And so I guess the other one must have showed up sometime soon. Because Jay was saying that one showed up last week. Yeah, it's
like 2 days, and my shipping was like 10 or something like that. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, so it was actually pretty good. I was out
Luckily
of town. I was out of town this week, and when I saw that the my cameras all over, Ring cameras and all that stuff, and I saw that FedEx had come, and I was expecting something from FedEx. As a matter of fact, it's right here. If you are on our podcast, if you're on our YouTube channel, you can see it is the new AR-2400T, and this is the brand new 20 channel from Spectrum. Nice. And it's telemetry, and so I had ordered one, and I knew it was coming in, and so when FedEx came, I saw the FedEx truck. I assumed it was just the receiver.
It's funny that you said that because Jay and I were talking about, okay, well, hopefully Arlee's been ordering stuff, or he's been ordering stuff, so that when the truck shows up, he's like, "What's that truck showing up for?" Start asking questions, and I was like, "Nah, we don't have anything to worry about." Amazon and Mike are best buddies.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
And so FedEx comes or Amazon comes whenever, and so it's all good. And so we were laughing about it. It's like, that's not going to be a worry. It'll be funny.
So when I ordered my stuff,
the funny part,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so when Mike and I figured out that our stuff was going to be coming at different times and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you better contact Mike's wife and let her know that your stuff's coming in early." So I texted her and I said, "Hey, I got something coming in the mail, blah 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 blah," and I said, "Oh, I'll give you. It should be there like the day after you had left to go to work." And I said, "It should be showing up that day, but I'll let you know when it shows up." And I'll also give you the order number so that you can tell it apart from the other packages, because I know there's going to be more than one package that day. There's going to be several other normal packages, and you're going to be like, yeah, well, he said his package is coming, but how can I tell which one it is? So I sent her the order number, so she kind of got a chuckle out of that. And then she says, "Is there more coming?" I said, "Well, you might get something else from Mike, might be coming too, but it's a big package, so you'll know when that one comes in." She's like, "Okay." So, but it was pretty funny.
Well, what I think is funny is that the order when I ordered it, it was like between the 19th and the 22nd, so it could have showed up whenever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it showed up.
It must showed up early
sooner than later.
today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She got
showed
it
up sooner than later, so that's cool.
Yeah. Well, that it was awesome. I was super surprised, and that's very difficult. Surprised me because, like I said, stuff shows up. I think I could probably count on one hand how many times Jay's is actually surprised the fact that, hey, wait, what is this? Or I got something, but that is true. I had ordered, as a matter of fact, the motorhome. We had taken the motorhome out, and I ordered a bunch of stuff for the motorhome. And right before I left, and that's usually what I do right before I go out to work. I'm gone for 4 days, so I order a bunch of stuff, and then she collects it all. And I am on a first name basis with my Amazon driver. I mean, when he pulls in there, he knows if his name's Jeremy actually, but
I slipped the disc. Mo's house.
And actually, the other Amazon driver's name is Tyler. So
that's funny.
But yeah, it slipped through the cracks, and I didn't even notice. I just assumed it was the stuff that I got. And when I got home from my trip, all my packages were where they normally are, and I just picked them all up, and I was opening them up, and I'm like, okay, well, this one I ordered this. So I was pretty excited, and I was all focused more on the receiver, getting the receiver.
Right.
That was a spendy. Oof. That was my birthday gift.
Luckily, we got under the radar of the receiver.
You did, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It was very, 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 very good. So, well, I'm excited to get it set up. I literally unboxed it, and it's just kind of sitting there because I wanted to kind of talk to you guys and touch base on the podcast
So besides the antennas, what else do you think you want to make? Like
I don't know. I guess the sky's the limit, right? I mean, my eyes, in my head, the first thing I think of is because I saw what Spencer did at his place where he made a bunch of aviation stuff, right? He made cockpit parts, and now his airplane was much bigger than mine, and I already have a cockpit in mine. I don't have to change anything out, but I don't know. There's little things. I'm just going to have to start looking to see what it is I can make. And I will tell you that the detail work that the one that Spencer had, it was pretty phenomenal. I mean, I was really impressed.
It blows away what an FDM printer can do. I mean, even the oldest stuff.
It'll be smooth. It'll be it'll be smooth, and it'll be very featureful.
And they, I think I was reading earlier. Somebody sent me something. I always get stuff from like, the hobby stores and different stuff. And I know Jay has got stuff coming to me as well. But I think that they just released something new. It's like an 8K. Didn't you say it was a 4?
They have an 8K.
I think
they have an 8K one.
So,
but for the stuff that we're doing,
amazing.
I don't know if we need that kind of detail. That's for quite literally.
Right.
They make like little figurines that for D&D and for Warhammer and all that kind of stuff. They're making these super detailed characters that are teeny tiny, and they you see all their fingernails on their hands, and I mean it's just phenomenal.
Whiskers.
The amount of exactly. So we don't need quite that detail, but if we're making busts and whatever, I mean, just the regular 2K stuff will give you all that you ever want and that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing. It'd be kind of cool to make a pilot, like a military guy or whatever.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because all you need is an Apple phone, which I know you have. And
I do have an Apple phone.
And you can make a bust of yourself, making a 3D picture of yourself. Very easily with
no way.
Yes, way. And once you
that's
make that
do.
bust,
so that's
one of your dog.
I could do one of the dog. That'd be kind of funny. Do one of the dog. Actually, I'm going to do one of me, and then I'm going to send it to you guys. Like, here you go. Put this on your desk. That way, I'm always watching.
Christmas ornaments. Mike's Christmas ornaments.
That's right. That's it. That's a good one. I'll make Christmas ornaments this year myself.
But make sure you're staying there holding an RC thing.
That's right.
Otherwise,
these gimbals suck.
That, dude? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Put a little sound chip in there that when you press the button, it says these gimbals suck.
There you go. These gimbals are terrible. Did he send you that actually? The little Oh yeah, he sent me a meme. You'll have to send it to him. It was a guy that was had a radio, and he's like, "Ooh, what's up with these gimbals?" And so they hand him a different radio, and he goes, "I want the gold gimbals." And so they hand him one, and he's like, his eyes closed. He's like, "Oh, that's much better." And then his kid goes, "All right, can we go fly the drone now?" And he looks at him and goes, "What's a drone?" Anyway, Jay was laughing. He sent it to me. I was just busting a gut. He's like, "This reminded me of you." And I'm like, "Yeah," because the ratchet thing on people's radios just drives me insane. I mean, I was so glad that my radio
You don't
didn't
like
have
my
that.
FR Sky stuff because it rattles.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it, but you don't.
It's just, I don't know. Now I can become a 3D snob. See, I can say, well, I got a resin printer. So, hey, now here's a good question.
Sure.
Can we use this to print out parts for the Infinity Wing?
Well, you could, but the problem is that he uses lightweight filament, so it's a special filament. So he said he printed an Infinity Wing without that foam stuff, but it was significantly heavier.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, no, I mean in that sense, no. But
you will be able to print out things like motor mounts, like you said, different little parts for your plane, or if your plane breaks. You know, I think we fixed AK's plane one time. You know, I printed out was it a brace or something for one of your 3D for your battery or 3D plane. So I mean, you're going to be able to make those things without a problem, or like you said, hatches, covers, inlets. For like I know, like for especially for
make some nacelles.
Nacelles, like I know guys are making NACTA ducts. Am I saying that right? The NACTA ducts.
That's what
for the inlets.
That's what I was going to say.
So they a lot of guys print those things out and stick them in the foam planes or various other planes to get cooling in their aircraft. Yeah. So I mean, you could do all sorts of stuff. Whistles. Remember the whistles that you did before, that you went out and bought all those Nerf things? You can print those whistles out.
The 4 Nerf balls at $30 a piece that I tore apart.
Exactly.
Just my wife looked at me. She was shaking her head like, "What?"
You'll be able to print out the same whistle, and make 40 of them, at a time.
Nice.
So that's the other key with the resin printer over like my FDM printer. So if it takes me a half an hour to print out a part or an hour to print out a part, so if I make 10 of them, hey, 10 times 30 minutes. That's how long it's going to take to print out the parts.
Right.
On a resin printer, if you can fit 10 parts on your bed, it doesn't care how many things you're making. It takes exactly the same time. So if it takes 30 minutes, if you make one or you make 30 or 50, it doesn't care. So that's where it gets great for if you're making a bunch of parts or small parts. If you can fit them all in the bed,
that's what we call it. Nest them. Yeah.
Nest them. Yeah, that's right. If you're nesting them, you can make all the parts and do it in minimal amount of time. And that's the great thing about those resin printers.
Well, that is cool. I'm excited now.
Well, and two, I think you could probably make, like, if you want to make like different kind of parts, you could make molds for those parts too. We've talked about that before,
too.
Right?
Yeah.
You can make reverse molds or regular molds and then do a reverse out of it.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I could do that too.
Yep.
Well, that's going to be one of those things. You guys are going to have to try to find something and say, "Hey, look here, try to make this or do something."
Oh well, Jay'll be happy to provide.
I'm sure he will.
Hey, listen, I already sent you a good video with a guy basically printed a whole plane, fiberglass, the whole 3D printed plane. And he was making all, so I already gave my hint as to what I want you to make.
There you go. I'll have to with that little thing though. I don't think the print bed is that big, is it? That'd be a lot of.
Well, no,
pretty big.
Is it?
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Remember, you were talking about
it's probably not as big as what you have.
But remember, you're talking about the little, not the nose cones, but the light nose cones on the tips, the wing tips. The little.
Oh yes.
You can make a mold for that.
Yes.
Put the plastic on it, suck it down, and you can make a mold out of that thing. And plus, being that's a 3D printer, it's going to be smooth. It'll take minimal sanding to prep it and get it ready for your setup, and it's heat resistant. That's another beauty of.
Now, can I get the resin in different colors? I think there's 3 colors here. This is gray.
And this thing we sent you was black, gray, and white, which are kind of the basics. Gray and white's pretty much the basic, but you can get it in like translucent, and they're mainly translucent colors because remember, light has to travel through it in order to harden it, right? So you won't see too many opaque colors, or you will, but they'll be kind of lightish, is what I'm saying, right? So,
well, that makes sense. Well, good. I'm excited. So yeah, I totally forgot, Mike, that I was talking to Jay about that. That's probably where he got this idea because I said I wanted him to print me out some basically what you just said, a mold for the light lens that goes on the L39.
Yeah, the one that you kept breaking all over the place.
Yeah, I backed into it and just cracked the lens on it. So, but this would be kind of cool. Actually, I could actually modify this one where I could actually make a housing and then put a little plastic piece inside it, so I could cut these down and then glue it in where it's just the front part that's the glass. Figure out a way to kind of attach it. So that'd be kind of neat. Huh,
so I think it's like 84 millimeters, the bed width.
84 millimeters?
84, yeah.
Well, that's pretty big. I don't know. I mean, I know that they make the type of printers Jay has that are like 500 millimeters.
Oh yeah,
and that's
that's the downside for 3D printing. They're small beds, but you can get bigger ones. But that just means you're pouring in more resin. Resin still costs more than a roll of filament. So
yeah, well there you go.
Yeah, it's like 82 by 130 by 160 high.
So it's got some height to it. You can print something long.
Yeah,
exactly. Very cool. Well, very, very cool. Happy birthday to me, Arizona Mike. And happy birthday to AK Mike as well. Right. We're going to let you go for this time, but I think the next go around in 2 weeks, we're going to talk to Mike about his gift, and then he's got the whole time and can tell us all about his exploits. But thank you very much. We appreciate your support here at the Park Flyer Podcast. Hopefully we'll have Shannon back with us. But for now, I'm Michael from Arizona.
I'm Jay from the hills of Texas.
And I'm AK Mike in Texas.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Let's fly.
You have been listening to the Park Flyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.